This is Racquel Palmese. Welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. The subject that I have been asked to talk about today is bigger than one that I can actually cover in 20 minutes. But it is something that we all need to really look at. So I'm jumping right in, and let's see what comes forth for us. So take some breaths with me. Let's set a container of sharing, whether you're here with me now or whether you come in later. Know that your energy is part of what makes this work, and what expands our knowing and our thinking and our being. Take a few breaths and have a good exhale, release. Let go, let go, let go, and come in. Come in with me. We can feel energy circulating between us. We can feel the expansion as we come together in a kind of council to open up our thoughts and our knowing and our bodies and our being and our spirit. So what I'm asked to talk about today is about facing into fear. Fear is a big word. Fear seems to be at the bottom of everything. When you work through your anger and grief and whatever else is plaguing you, you finally will get to fear. And facing into the fear, when all we want to do is run away from it, is really hard. But we need to. Because if you look around you at your world, after almost 2 years of very insular living, of lots of contention among everybody, what we find in the collective is a lot of fear. What we find is mistrust. So often I'm hearing, and I'm sure you are too, experiencing it or hearing it, is that people can't find a way to communicate with their own best friends, people that have been close to them forever. We become afraid to broach certain subjects with our beloveds even. We become afraid of the powerful forces of rage and anger in our society, on our planet, that are running like waves, finding contention in just about everything there is. There's power grabs and greed. There's extreme selfishness to the extent that I haven't witnessed in my almost 3/4 of a century here on the planet. The self-orientation comes from fear. We will protect what we have. Our view of what freedom is, for example, we'll try to protect our right to do whatever we want to do, regardless of how it might affect others. We are afraid. We're afraid of losing a way of life, maybe. We're scared of communicating. The fear is very real. whether we want to admit it or not, some of us are actually better at overriding it and carrying on. Others are not so good at it. Others feel it more intensely. Others are affected by what's going on in our world right now more than others are. When you see people not going back to work, they don't want to. When you see people opting to stay in their cocoons, we have to realize that we need to help each other come out of the fear package that has been instilled into our beautiful world. We don't want it to win, because what fear does is fear actually enslaves us. Fear of losing freedom is the very thing that will take our freedom away, because fear does not allow, actually, for independent thought. Fear has us follow a leader, a concept, an idea. Fear is a prison, and yet fear is not an enemy. Fear is not our enemy. Fear is meant to be our teacher. When we have a fear response to something, generally we'll have some pretty rote responses. We will get angry. I'm sorry if people are having trouble on Instagram. Hang on, let me do something here. Hopefully that might be better. I hope you can all hear me. Let me know if you can hear me on Instagram, and hopefully Facebook is allowing me to be heard. Technology. So anyway, here we are. We're together. We're facing into fear. Think about your relationship to your family and friends, to your world, to your work. See where there are pockets of fear that are actually limiting your expression in any of these areas. See where the fear has kind of imprisoned you, made you afraid to reach out or speak your truth, or have even enjoy something. I think what I started to say a few minutes ago is that fear elicits a couple of responses generally from us all. Fear either makes us want to go hide. We want to try to override it somehow. So sometimes it'll make us pretend it's not there, and put on a brave face, and we'll move on. Nothing wrong with that. We have to do that often. Or fear will make us really angry. We'll get mad that we're afraid. And this is when it gets really, really serious. Because acting out of that response to fear, that anger response to fear, often can lead us down a very dark pathway. We'll get mad at ourselves because we're afraid. We'll get mad at the world. We'll get mad at others. We will feel that we can't have any agency in our world. None of these responses is helpful at all. We can't hide from fear. It follows us. We can't get mad at it because it has us act out like idiots. We can't make it go away. We can't pretend it's not there. We can put on a brave face, yes. We need to do that sometimes, but sooner or later, we have to face the fear. We have to know that it's not our enemy, that it is meant to help us grow. Fear is meant to challenge us. If we embrace fear, the things that we're afraid of, if you really can, think of something. I know many people are afraid of these holidays. How do we do them? We have half our family that doesn't feel safe with the other half of the family. We have people with different political views on everything, from vaccination to COVID to right and left and everything else. Fear. How do we come together? How do we support each other to face the fears that are actually running us all? And they're trying to run us into the ground. We have issues that we have to clear up. We have climate change. We have things that are very serious that could wipe us out if we don't actually stop running from them. If we don't keep going into denial that this is our responsibility, that we need to come together and not run away from each other. Because at the end of the day, we're just scared. We're afraid that no matter what we do, we're still going to ruin the earth. We're afraid and cynical that we're helpless and hopeless in many ways. So many of you out there I know no longer read newspapers or trust anything. Fear. And the messaging of fear is coming at us 24/7 from all directions. How do we lift ourselves up out of all that? How do we stay engaged in our lives, in our communities, and in our larger world? How do we not hide or just get mad or pretend it's okay? It's not okay. The biggest question is, how do we actually help each other rather than what the fear tries to get us to do, which is stay in conflict with each other? How do we lift each other up? How do we have one hand forward and one hand back? How do we make that human chain that is the answer to fear? Love is the only thing stronger than fear. I always say that. And it sounds spiffy. But when you really think about that kind of love that we need to embrace in order to put fear back in its place as teacher and not controller, that's a tough call. We have to stop believing in the negativity that is scaring us. We have to look at each other not as the other, but as ourselves. Fear is trying to get us to the next level of consciousness. Fear is trying to challenge us enough to let us see that we need to change, that we need to come together in so many ways. This is a time of intense and incredible decision making. We collectively are putting out a message to the universe. What is the message that you're putting out to spirit, to creation? That you're scared? That you don't like it? That you want some answers? Or are you putting out a willingness to open a field that's different, where we help each other face into the fear and the many fears that are trying to tear us apart right now? Not that the fear is trying, but the result of not understanding the challenge of fear for what it is tearing us apart. Go to any school board meeting and you'll see it. We need to come into alignment with fear itself. We need to not run away from it. We need to sit with it. We need to feel it deeply, the sometimes nauseating, confusing, hurtful, painful feeling of fear. The lostness that we can feel when we actually stop running away from fear, but turn and face it. Okay, what do I need to see here? What do I need to see here? What is being asked of me, God? What in me needs to let go so I can receive the wisdom and the courage to be the best possible version of myself and not a fearful, scared little duck. Feel it in your heart. As your heart opens to this, we are being offered an opportunity. We're not being punished. We're being offered a grand opportunity to expand in consciousness. Now we have to. We have to. You know it, and I know it. The only way we're going to get there is to take each other's hand, as uncomfortable as that might be, and face it together. find a way. Find a way to listen. Find a way. There's always a way. Don't let the fear tell you it's impossible, because it will. You know it will. It has. It loves to do that. But it's only doing that so that we can see if we have the courage to say, no, it's not. I'm gonna try anyway. I'm gonna do it. I'm coming out. I'm coming out. All right, my beloveds. I hope this transmission came across the e-waves. All right. And I wish you a beautiful rest of your day or evening or wherever you are in the world. May you be well. And I'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you. Bye.